Good morning, YouTube land. Welcome in. My name is Ken Johnson, and today I plan on taking you guys on a journey with me, and we are going to create some sketchbooks or junk journals or mixed media books or whatever you want to create because it's all going to be based on one thing: the type of paper you choose to bind inside the sketchbook. Um, because make no mistake, you can design the cover and all the tricks and gimmicks on the inside universally across any of those. The only thing that's going to make the difference is going to be the paper that you put in it. So, speaking of paper, let me show you guys some things that I typically use for binding sketchbooks. These are the type of papers that I use to bind sketchbooks that I'm going to give away. Maybe not necessarily ones that I'm going to sell, although one of these does happen to be paper that I bind and sign inside custom sketchbooks that I list on Etsy or sell open independently. And it's actually a pretty good paper. We'll get to that in a second, though. Okay, so one of the first papers I want to show you, and we're not necessarily looking at brand more so than just talking about the type of paper. Now, this is a 100% cotton fine grain paper. It's 140 pounds. And 9 by 12 sheets are typically the size I will universally start off with because it's actually a pretty large sketchbook if you use the entire sheet. And of course, you can moderate a 9 by 12 sheet down to fit any size sketchbook up under, oh, say a 9 by 9, 10 by 10. Um, so I think 9 by 12 is a good size. And I think that cold press 100% cotton fine grain paper is typically the most universal paper if you're going to use a watercolor paper to bind with. Um, Rough grade paper sketchbooks do tend to cost more money. So that's always something to keep in mind. Another type of watercolor paper you could consider would be on the complete opposite end of this spectrum, and it would be something like 117-pound cold press student grade complete pulp watercolor paper. This is Canson Graduate again, not necessarily talking about um, the brand versus the actual paper. Now, what I like about 117-pound paper is that, for all purposes, it's thin and a little bit more pliable. If you do find the right quality brand, it can give you just as much resilience as a cotton paper will. Although, if you have any painting experience, you will know, especially when it comes to water soluble products, it won't necessarily give you the same effects that 100% cotton paper will. Nonetheless, it's still a really decent paper to bind your sketchbooks with, simply because you can get more sheets in a signature of a paper this thin and this pliable versus, say, like a 140-pound or higher weight cotton paper, where you're going to get less pages in a signature simply because they're going to be less pliable. All right. Other papers you may want to look at from the watercolor spectrum to be could be, if you wanted to make just a journal that was completely um for alcohol markers, you could use your alcohol marker pad paper, excuse me. Now, a lot like the 100% cotton paper, that's a thicker, less pliable paper, so you're going to get less pages in a signature, but it is definitely something that you could work with. Of course, you could bind your sketchbooks or journals with pastel papers or sketch papers. I'll show you guys something I use on a regular basis. Now, for instance, here is a already bound sketchbook. You can pick these up from your local dollar store. You find them inside the Dollar Tree sometimes, actually. And the great thing is you can pull the signatures out of here or pull the glue bound signature out, and you could still use the cover for repurposing. Or If you wanted to pick something up like this that's already bound, you could simply just repurpose the actual cover of the book itself and go from there. Like for this one, if I was going to upcycle it or repurpose it, I would probably make the front and the back cover hard bound instead of a soft bound book. But change up some things, do some thrifty designing on it. But there are always ways to achieve what you're looking for. Now, outside of, and this is the type of paper that I would use if I was making a sketchbook. Of course, being completely transparent about the fact that it's a student grade thin weight paper that's involved in it. This would also be the type of paper that I would use if I was making a junk journal, because these type of pages work wonders, giving you plenty of writing room as well as creation room from drawing to sketching. Probably not much water solubility, but there are always ways around everything. I say that all the time. And then, of course, with the junk journals, you're always looking for plenty of writing room. So these pages would be wonderful for like collaging on, creating on, and still having writing room. Now, other papers you could possibly use for either junk journals or your sketchbooks are going to be mixed media papers. Now, here I have, this is Canson. This happens to be the same brand as the 117-pound watercolor paper that I showed you. But this is a 90-pound mixed media paper, right? It's super thin. But the difference between it and like a sketch paper or a regular paper is that mixed media paper is going to have a built-in tooth, built-in sizing, as we call it, that's going to give you texture across your paper, that's going to help grab more media versus just pencil. And it will also give you the ability to layer. It's not going to be as thick as either your 117-pound or your 140-pound or higher papers. So it's going to give you the ability to get more pages, even more than a 117, into a signature, just depending on how big you're trying to actually make your sketchbook or your junk journal, right? Okay. Now let's look at this other mixed media paper I have. Now this is Creative Mark Universal Mixed Media Pad. Now I'm going to be very honest with you guys. This is one of my go-to papers for binding junk journals and mixed media sketchbooks. And I'll show you really quick, and I've shown this before, but this happens to be the sketchbook that I put together last year for Inktober, which we're rolling up on very rapidly, and I'm really happy. Um, they've already released the prompt list. I think I posted it somewhere. I posted it either here on YouTube in the community section, or maybe it was over on Instagram, or maybe it was in paints, pencils, pastels, and markers, but I posted it somewhere. So the prompt list for Inktober 2024 is already available. If you guys want to go grab it, save it, you can even go ahead and start working on some of your Inktober work now in September so that you like way ahead. You know what I mean? But anyway, I digress. This book was bound with the Universal Mixed Media Pad. And I spent 31 days creating on this paper before I finally decided that this was definitely a paper I felt would be really, really good for binding sketchbooks. And odds are, if you've ordered any of my sketchbooks or received any of my sketchbooks over the last, oh, say, year, maybe year and a half, you've probably encountered this paper. If I'm not mistaken, one of the sketchbook Tisa has this paper in it, and she's created on it before, if I'm not mistaken. But here's an example of watercolor on the paper. Let's see. This is watercolor as well. That's gouache and color pencil. That's more watercolor. That's alcohol marker, and that's alcohol marker as well. That's watercolor marker. Let's see. Alcohol marker. That was kind of a throwaway painting, but that was alcohol marker as well. I'm trying to see. That's color pencil, alcohol. So definitely, I've used alcohol marker, color pencil, watercolor. That's watercolor. One of them is gouache. That's watercolor pencil. So I have literally used pretty much every medium um, that I create with on this paper. And I feel like it's a pretty robust paper for all of them. So the point that I'm making with showing you that is to encourage you when it comes to your sketchbooks is to try to find one universal paper that you can use, that you could bind either your sketchbook with or your mixed media book, or I'm sorry, your watercolor sketchbooks or your mixed media sketchbooks or even your junk journals, especially if you're talking about producing journals or sketchbook um, for your craft fairs or for your Etsy shops or what have you. Definitely find one paper that's going to be cost effective, that you can kind of spread out across all those types. So I just wanted to show you some of the type of papers that I use when it comes to binding sketchbooks and journals before we actually got into some creation. So I'm going to jump into the comment section. Now's the time that up until this point, if you have any questions about binding, the type of papers to use, the weight of papers to use, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. If you're watching the video in as a part of the replay crew, go ahead and jump in the comment section and drop any questions that you may have about paper weight, or what I use for binding, and I'll be happy to answer those for you. Here is what I'm going to be working with today. This, my friends, is my junk box. Some people may have a junk drawer. Some people may have, I don't know, a junk bag. Maybe like me, it was in the corner of your studio on the floor for a while before it ended up in this little box to organize everything. Now, mind you, I threw a lot of stuff away that was in that little junk pile in order to condense down to something that I felt like would be more manageable. But that's not really about today's video. This is more so about encouraging you to use your leftover tidbits and tadbits around your studio in order to create with, because truly everything can be reused. Truly, truly. So the types of things that are in my little, these are like, um, what are these, watercolor paint boxes from like half pans and stuff that I've tested. I've got like offcuts of different types of watercolor paper in here. I've got like mixing charts from when I've tested palettes in here. Let's see, I've got like little cellophane bags that are left over in here. Let's see, there's offcuts of pattern paper and all types of design paper. Let's see, there are ribbons and strings that have come off of stuff. There's like little advertisements and bookmarks that come from different things that have come into the studio. There are already like some little pre-designed things that I may have made, and they didn't make it into a sketchbook or didn't make it into a journal, that were kind of tossed off in the little junk box. Pre-printed designs where I've used what I needed to use and had like leftovers. So that type of stuff is off in here. Leftover pieces of fabric from projects I've worked on. And like I said, I mean, I got chip pieces of chipboard in here, and manila file folders. Let's see, these are like cut aparts from pattern packs and extra pattern paper, the front parts of like pads, file folders, pieces of like, this is something I made out of napkins. This is a napkin pulled apart with dried rose leaves in it, and then it's covered with glue to make the napkin into like a pliable page so that it won't tear. It just so happens at the time that I was doing this, I was letting them dry on top of some Walmart Walmart plastic bags, and the ink from the plastic bag actually transferred to the project that I was making. The funny thing about that is it became a really cool learning experience. So because in the process, I learned how to transfer ink from plastic onto projects that I was making, and it was a complete accident. But yeah, so when when you set out to create and just start exploring things, you will discover stuff, and tidbits and tricks and things. I don't want that to shine in anybody's face, but as you can see, I have like these reflective pieces that are saved over from some type of gift box from Christmas. So I just wanted you to kind of see the type of stuff I'm going to be working with. That way you will know you don't like need to go out and spend tons of money in order to get anything like this done. A couple of other supplies I'm working with, I'm going to be using my Fiskars paper cutter, which you don't have to use these. You could use an X-Acto knife and a ruler if speaking of, I have my X-Acto knife. I won't put it out right now, but I'm gonna definitely put that on the list. An X-Acto knife, which I do have in that cup there. Let's see what else. I have tape. So I just happen to have a little bit of packaging tape there. It's not something you have to have. I just happen to have it. I have all types of trinkets like magnet in case I need to use it for a closure. I have things like what do you call these things? Eyelets and eyelet installers. But this is from like years of crafting and collecting things. You don't necessarily need all of this stuff. I'm showing you some of the things that I use. But in today's projects, we're going to actually keep it really simple and straightforward. Um, Embroidery floss is what I typically use for my binding. And the binding that I use on a more regular basis than anything is a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Now, you possibly have seen other journaling, other sketchbook videos where people use many different things in order to bind their books, from glue to staples, wax thread, which most people tend to lean towards. I use embroidery floss simply because it is strong enough to hold the bindings together, and I can get it in all these cool colors, and it's much cheaper than wax thread, which is the main reason. um, and you may want to use like a hole puncher. I have somewhere, I'm trying to find it, what's called a awl. Here we go. Um, it's basically almost like an ice pick, if anyone knows what that is. It's a long pointed tool that's typically used to punch holes in things. That's pretty straightforward what it is. And I typically use it to punch in all of the holes for the pamphlet stitching. So there we go. Those are some of the other tools we're going to be using. Let's go ahead and get cracking here. So for sketchbook, first up, don't know, just gonna play. This is like not something super pre-planned. So I have, let's see what we have here. I have some cut aparts. I have some cut aparts, and first thing's calling to me is this Arteza box is here. Let's see, what can we do? And here's the thing about quick creation with your crafting. I don't necessarily hold myself to a particular time frame when I'm doing it. But what I do is try not to think too much about it. Grab some scissors. I'm gonna cut this baby out. And it is my plan to only use things that are in my junk box so that I can start getting it used up and not have it overflow. I'm gonna use this Arteza half pan box as my base. Let's open it up real quick. And I'm going to pull it apart on the side where the packaging is joined together real quick. Try to keep the inside intact as much as I can. All right, so I don't need. Actually, what I'm gonna use that part as the spine, and technically, it's actually too wide. I don't plan on making the sketchbook that wide. So first things first, I want to cut off all of these extra parts, extra size. You could do it with an X-Acto knife, like I said, if you wanted to. I'm going to be using one of my cutters, if I can find it. Don't know what a blade for the one I want to use is. There we go. Okay, so I'm grabbing a cutter. I don't know how long this video is going. How long I'm gonna be live? I'm gonna tell you now. Crafting is not something I normally put a time restraint on myself with. So I'm gonna tell you now. I have no idea how long this video is gonna be. And scoreboards are handy too. I mean, you don't have to have a scoreboard in order to craft. There are ways to get your things scored without having a scoreboard, but they sure do come in handy. So if my hands get ashy and all paper cut up, y'all just bear with it. All right, so I'll line it up and kind of cut off the sides. And this is my cutter that I use to cut the thicker things with, so that I can still have a pretty decent cut and not wear the blade out on my other one. And I'm just going to use scissors to clean up as I go. And basically what I'm doing is laying the fold of the box down into the groove where I know the blade will run. And it just makes quick, clean work of cutting down boxes. That way I don't have to do too much cleanup. And we are going to have ourselves a base really, really quickly here. Now, I had no idea how this live sketchbook creation thing was going to go. So here we have basically a journal, It's going to be a little quick travel journal, but it's got a pretty wide spine in it. You could get quite a few little signatures in there. I personally am not going to make it that big. I'm going to actually use the spine to reinforce the spine and make it smaller. Show you what I mean. So let me measure here. That spine is exactly 1 inch. So I am going to make a mark about there, 1/2 inch. And I'm going to cut that in half. Hopefully it's going to be right, even. Or as even as it could be. All right. And then I'm going to be gluing those back together to make that spine smaller, but using the cardboard of the box to reinforce itself. It's going to make the spine smaller but thicker and more durable. So I can move that out the way. Didn't really plan this whole cleanup process as I go thing either. Yep. So as you guys can tell, this is my first live crafting. We're going to be on the road in a minute though. I'm going to have quite a bit of vacuuming to do. All AWL. All right. So now, what you use as far as your glue, it's completely on you. I'm gonna be honest. I tell you guys in videos, and I show you guys in videos how I use white glue because I want you to know that it can be used. But typically, when I'm using or doing a sketchbook, I use a stronger glue. a silicone-based quick drying glue known as Fabri-Tac. It's also known as Fabri-Fix, depending on where you pick it up from. They are the same thing. They are made by the Beacon company. They Beacon also makes like a 3-in-1 glue, I think it's called. That's pretty cool to craft with as well. Doesn't quite, I think it's more water based though. So I'm going to get this glue to run down because yes, I use every drop. This is, I'll be honest, silicone based glues are not the cheapest, especially not when you can get an entire rim of school glue or white PVA glue and pay like, I don't know, $6 and have almost 13 bottles of glue, especially when you ordering it. Uh, so what I'm gonna do is just join these together. I'm crafting in the air, just like so. And I didn't cut them in half exactly. Now, did I? That's not gonna matter. It definitely reduced, and we're gonna be putting some more. It's not an exact science always, especially when you're crafting without making any type of prototypes. And of course, I know I would experience that type of stuff running into a live. All right, let's reinforce that spine a little bit. I'm waiting on it to completely dry. I know it doesn't take fabric fix that long to grab and hold. I'm going to look for, see, what do we have? We got fabric in here. What we have? Ooh, okay. I can use that to reinforce the binding, and I'll make suggestions for other things. Now, you didn't have to use leftover box. You could have used a cereal box. You could have used a file folder. You could have used the back of a watercolor paper pad or a mixed media paper pad or a sketch pad in order to make your base from. You could have used regular pattern paper if it was thick enough. If you have super, super, super heavyweight cardstock, you could even glue two pieces of that paper together in order to make your base. So you did not necessarily have to have like a leftover paint box like I did. Do I want to put another piece on there? I don't think I do because I want it to lay down flat. So I'm actually going to measure off a piece of, because I'm going to use this to cover the spine and give it even more strength. Okay. Let's go with about that wide so we can make sure what we put on the inside. Yep, that's going to work. Since we're here on the whole fabric thing, let's see. You know, I have fabric here. Why not use it, right? Oh, yeah. That'd be a cute little cover. Let's use that. Okay. See here. Ooh, I like the big rows. Let's see how I want to turn it. So it doesn't really matter what's the front. We're going to make that the front. It's not going to quite like that. I think that's how I want to do it. Is that enough to wrap around on the inside of everything? It looks to be. It looks to be. Okay. Let's see. In about. Now, you do not have to use fabric like I'm using to cover the front. You could use pattern paper. You could use the papers you design yourself. You can use digital downloads that you print out. And believe it or not, you would use the same wrapping method that you're about to see me use. Now, I'm gonna clean this up just a little bit so I don't have all these straggly strings on the inside. Okay. I mean, they're going to all be covered up anyway, but still, just to make it a little easier to work with. So let's go ahead and I'm going to cover. I have to wait on the glue. Like, I honestly did not go buy more glue. I felt like I was probably only going to get through putting maybe 2 of these together completely, because believe it or not, they're kind of time. They're laboring, especially getting to the whole binding process and all of that good joint and juice. So I'm just going to put down real quick enough glue to help hold. Let me see, and I need about that much on that side and that much on that side, that much from top. There we go. Plop that down. Now, I use, if I can find it, I use my brayer. You can use your hand, but I kind of use my brayer to kind of push it down into itself. Check the opposite side. Ooh, you can still kind of see the box design through that. That's kind of cool. And I did get a little glue there. You want to try to avoid that. That's one where I had like a glob of glue. So once it dries, it's going to clear up, but it will have a bit of a stain there. And I hate that. So you get to pick up, but this is some of the things that you want to do. So you definitely want to kind of make sure that when you put your glue down, before you lay down your fabric, that you don't have globs anywhere. And that's probably from that last little glob I put down. So definitely something to watch out for. And now I'm just going to wrap it around to the inside. And then fold my corners down. This is quick crafting for me. All right. Same thing here. And for the second journal I'll probably show you guys how to just use like pattern paper. But here I did kind of want to get. So there my corners are now wrapped. The only thing I'm going to do now is go around and fold and glue the fabric down. So, and try to do it without like huge globs of glue like that. Although it will be on the inside and wrap, so it won't make that huge a difference. You don't have to be as careful with the glue on the inside as you do with covering your outside. Because again, the outside, oh God, I'm gonna have glue everywhere. This is gonna be quite a cleanup day. Get off. Jeez. Okay, then I'm just gonna, I don't even think this all done. Just fold it in over itself and let that glue grab. Make sure you try to keep your corners neat. Again, another advantage to using a silicone based glue over like a white PVA glue. This is going to grab and help me continue to create faster. Whereas with the white glue, I would want to stop and take the time, press it under something heavy, make sure that it's completely stuck down. So it's not that you can't craft with PVA glue. It just, in my opinion, takes quite a bit more time. But it can definitely be done. I just didn't think it was the best glue to be grabbing and trying to use for a live craft. Yep. And if you are just entering, we are making a really quick travel sketchbook here. And I am using leftovers from my junk box. I haven't grabbed anything new from around my studio. Everything that we've used so far has come out of that junk box. Now, I'm a normal crafter, so I have a lot of things in my junk box that I was able to just grab and go with something. You know, is there no glue in here at all? Oh, it's in there. It's just not coming down. There we go. Well, well, well. What we have here? There we go. Got it out. I'm gonna have to try to move fast before that glue ends up puddling, which it tends to do once it gets low. So you guys are gonna see me fighting glue all day. That's okay, because I don't want to use any other glue. And when all this fails, I just scoop it up on my finger and spread it out because I'm, normally kind of like got stuff all over me anyway. So why not? All right. And then I'll just go ahead and fold that part in. Now, all right, I'm gonna take 2 seconds to let all this stick down and to clear the glue off my hand. So now I'm gonna go ahead and protect the spine and put down this little piece of fabric that I cut earlier. And I'm just gonna put glue down the middle. That's a little glob there. I'm gonna clear that up because this piece of fabric that I'm gonna put down is even thinner than what we trying to let the glue run down. Thinner than what we covered the front with. So this is definitely gonna be have a higher chance of you know see through or glue globbing through. Mm. So I'm gonna take my finger and blend it out just a little. Not that it's gonna matter because it's in the spine, but I can't help myself. And I'm gonna stick that right in the middle to help protect that spine. And let's check it. Okay. I wanna grab now. If you don't have one of these, this is a bone folder. If you don't have one of these, you could grab uh, like a butter knife and use the handle end. That would work. An old spoon or old fork and use the handle end. That would work. So do not think that you have to have like a bunch of fancy tools. Not at all. All right. I'm gonna break this down just to make sure. And I did have quite a bit of glue in that spine. You can see that it kind of comes up through the fabric, but that's okay. Just the inside, you will never even see it. Now I'm gonna take my scissors, flip it over, and cut off any excess. So there we go. Um, So I'm gonna tell you guys something that's exciting why I do this there. I think that's nice. That's gonna be that's gonna help that spine stay intact really well. Ooh, we can make that the front, huh? Yeah, let's make that the front like that. It's kind of upside down. Well, you know, it really doesn't have direction. Should we make that the front? We can either make that the front. Hmm. Okay, that'll be the front. And let me fold my little fabrics back up. Try to keep my little junk box neat. I mean, that's enough fabric there to cover quite a few more little travel journals, actually. And let's grab this and put it on up real quick, trying to keep the desk a little clean as we go, so you'll be able to see with no problems. Don't want you having to fight to see what's going on the screen. All right. So, and just in case you've been wondering, this is just a glue book. It's like a magazine that I rip the pages away as the pages get dirty from me, you know, kind of gluing things on top of it. Then you actually can keep those glue bound magazine pages, put them together, and once you have enough of them, they'll be thick enough to make a soft bound cover for a journal. I have to show you guys. Oh, I'm sorry, I hit that microphone. I have to show you guys what I mean one day with that. We are 51 minutes in, almost an hour. Okay, I need to get a move on because I don't know how much the battery lasts without being charged. I've never had that. Oh, for goodness sake. Let's see. We need to cover the inside with something. I'm trying to find a piece of pattern paper real quick that'll look cool in there. Nope. Well, I guess I'll leave it out just in case. I don't know yet. I know I got plenty in here. Here's a few pieces. Let's see. There's that. I don't know if I like that. There's that. Oh, I think I like that one. What do you guys think? Number one, number two, or number three? Kind of like number one. I think it's nice. Number two is actually a pattern paper I made myself. So it's gonna have like it's made from watercolor paper, I think, or mixed media paper one. And it's enough of it for me to get it in there if I had to. So that's number two. And then number three is like this kind of star design. That's kind of neat. I think my favorite is number one, though. You guys let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm not going to think about it too much, so I just grabbed the first three pieces of pattern paper. Number two, one, two. Here. Okay, Tisa said number two. Ruby said number two. Okay. All right, then you know what? Let's go with number two. We'll go with the one I made. So this is made from um actually universal mixed media paper. Or is it cardstock? No, I take that back. This is cardstock. Okay, so this is cardstock. The first thing I did to it was gave it a tea bath. So I put it in tea and pulled it out and let it dry. And then I poured tea in spots so that the tea would puddle and let it dry in the paper. Then after that was dry, I took brown, this is burnt umber watercolor, burnt sienna watercolor and black watercolor, and made puddles and splash the watercolor all across the paper on the front. And it will kind of soak through to the back a little bit, but I kind of did a different pattern on the back where it was more like spots because I didn't know what side I would like the most. But I think I'm gonna go with a more Jackson Pollock splashy look here. Let's see. I need to remember how to do stuff now. Okay, I'm going to grab, cut this down, even it. It gives me a little give. That's cool. Or I just make that market. Oh, right there. Okay. And perfect. And what I'm doing is I'm pushing it up just slightly to the crease because I don't want to bunch that crease up too much. It's going to make it hard to control the book later on. I mean, it's already hard enough, to get fabric to always cooperate and stay laying down. So you never want to judge anything like directly into your crease. So I'm like an eighth of an inch from the crease as I start my measuring. And even if I don't go all the way out to the end, I'm always kind of trying to work on that 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch allowance, no matter what I do. And sometimes it's not always even. It's not always 1/8 all the way around. It may be 1/8 on the left and the right side and 1/16 on the top and the bottom. Um, I don't know. Just depends on the day, right? And there we go. That'll be perfect to lay on the inside. I'm gonna pull that up closer, which is definitely going to give me more slack here. Now, theoretically, the other side of the box should be the same size, right? Theoretically. So theoretically, I kind of want that part. Let's see. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to do a little measuring there and make sure I wasn't going to be losing my mind. And that way I can just put one on top of the other and go ahead and cut that other side. And again, we are not looking for perfection, so I don't have to use the cutter. I wanted to be relatively in the same ballpark. Yeah, those are the sides I was looking. That's how I was looking to do that. I'm not using any inking for this because this one I don't plan on making a junk journal. Now for my junk journals, I typically ink um the edges and everything because it looks good and grungy. But whenever I'm making a sketchbook, I try to avoid inking anything, especially on the inside, because I don't want to take the chances of that ink transferring to any of my pages. Now, I'll be honest, when I initially started making sketchbooks and stuff, um, out the gate, those are the type of things that I did not keep in mind. And I remember my first dozen sketchbooks. So they would have like these little marks on the inside on the paper, and I would be like, why is that happening? Where is these black marks coming from? And then it hit me. Well, they're coming from the ink that you put on the inside. Um, because even after it dries, it can transfer a little bit. And I'm just like, you know what, dummy? That's right. So it was at that point that I stopped inking the insides. Let's see. And I'm just going to work that into place on that side. And another reason I like using glue instead of something like double-sided tape is that glue will give you just a few minutes to maneuver things into place. I'm going to take that brayer and brayer that down so that it's nice and flat. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Liking that. Liking that, friends. Let's get the other side in so that we can move on to binding. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about our front cover. I have not forgotten about our front cover. I should have grabbed my stamps. I might get up and get them, friends. I'm going to be honest. I might get up and get my stamps. Well, nope. I'm trying to, keep this to what you may have at your house. Most people probably won't have stamps sitting around like I do. So I'll keep going with like the pattern paper, which is something that most people might already have. Let's see. What's the front? I said that was gonna be the front. Yeah, we won't cover that up. We won't. Mm, I want to put the cover on it. No, I shouldn't have said that. No, 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 no. That's not how I meant for that to go. All right. Let me maneuver this into place really quick. I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't fall off the edge, but it definitely covers the folds over there. Now, if I wasn't crafting live, I'll be honest, even though I'm using Fabric to put this on, at this point, I would stop. I would put this under a couple of books and let it sit for about an hour, maybe two, before I moved on with anything else. Now, Fabric Tech and Fabric Fix and silicone-based glue typically do not need drying time, but I think it helps to just kind of make everything lay down flat, make sure that everything is stuck and adhered and glued together with no issues. All right, so there. That's the front, that's the back. So what the inside looks like so far. These are leftover pieces. Let's put these back. There you go. Stick my little pieces in there. Although one of those little squares is too small, I typically don't keep anything below 1 inch. I mean, because even keeping everything can get a little too overwhelming, guys. I mean, at some point, you have to know how to let some stuff go. Do I like that? I think I like that. As like a closure. Let's see. Okay. I'm taking a staple. This is like a ribbon bow or something that came on some flowers, or maybe it was edible, or one of those edible arrangements that I received. I don't know. Um, I'm trying to see how to say this politically correct. um, the person that I am blessed with goes out of their way to. There's always something like this, something with some type of bow or flower or something coming or sitting around. Or, so, and I was trying to figure out how to say it without making it sound like I was bragging, because I promise you I'm not. Um, oh, it's not as. Are some of them longer than others? Let's see. Now that's pretty long. I probably only need one of those as the closure. I wish I had a thought about it in the beginning, because I could have just glued the closure down under the inside cover. Okay, I'm going to work with that as the closure. We're going to make that work. But we need to do that in just a minute. Let's see here. Next thing's next. We said we were going to leave that as the front, so we just need to kind of bind it. I really wish I had some stamps so I could put something right there. I should have grabbed stickers or something. I don't have any stickers in here. That's so weird that there's no like leftover stickers or anything. Hmm. Just feel like they need a little decoration. Does that match the front? I do try to make sure that things match though. I think both of those tags do. And if they don't, they're going to. Once it's all said and done, everything will match. I don't care about the little hangy thing on the top of those. I just feel like the inside needs something that just seems so um not decorated enough for one of the journals I made. So I'm gonna snip these tags out real quick and use them as some decoration on the inside. Hmm. It would have been nice if I had my hole puncher too. But most people won't have a hole puncher, right? So I tell you what, where is okay, it's becoming I'm getting to where I didn't want to get to, which was to have so much stuff sitting around. I started losing where I put things that would slow down the progress of this live. Now, what did I do with? Oh, here. So I'm gonna. So just take your pokey tool and I cleaned it up on the back. Press it down on the back like that. I just wanted to give it its hole and try to be a little bit more centered this time. And the only reason I did it that way is because everybody might not have a hole puncher. You know, trying to consider everybody. How about this is the decorating phase? This is when you can get lost in the sauce. Do not let yourself get lost in the sauce. It is so easy. Let's go with brown. It is so easy to get lost in the sauce at this point because you start decorating, and if you're anything like me, that decorating can turn into 2 or 3 hours of hemming and hawing over. Oh, does this work? Oh, does that work? So don't let yourself get lost in the sauce. Don't think about it too much. Just kind of go like, oh, that idea might work, and do it. So I cut some brown embroidery floss. I'm gonna loop it through the top just to give it like a little, I don't know, ribbon taggy thing like that. And I'm probably gonna glue that or do I have tape? I think I have tape. Let me see. I have a tape runner somewhere. I don't know if it has tape in it. We are about to see. Yes, it has tape in it. Nice. And I'll put some across there. No, I don't trust tape. I don't feel like you can ever use. I'll go for. Ooh, do I have some pages already in here that I can use to keep from cutting down anything? Let me see. I normally have some leftover papers. What's this? That's cool. Ooh, love that. I remember when I did that with the. Ooh, that would have been nice on the inside. I wish I had ran into that first. don't that suck? I have to use that in the next one. But see, that's when I'll get lost in the sauce because I'll be going digging through here trying to find. But what about this? What about that? Okay, I just wanted to make sure I didn't have any like cut down watercolor paper or mixed media paper inside this junk. Oh, here we go. Yeah, but I don't think it's big enough. And I would have to do a kettle stitch journal in order to use that. So I am going to have to cut down a couple of pages, which I don't mind. I'll use the 117-pound watercolor paper. That way it'll be pretty robust. Two. I don't think I can just cut that in half. Oh, I could. And make a signature from it like that. So 4, 8, 16. 16 would be 32. So I'm gonna grab 4 pieces of 9 by 12, 117-pound cold press, acid-free watercolor paper. No, I don't have gloves on my hands. Give me 2 seconds. I need gloves. Where are they at? Where the gloves? On the kitchen table? Okay, friends, thank you for bearing with me. Had to go see what was going on in the front. I had to get gloves, number one. And number two, we got goodies. We got goodies that came. So I'm going to take a quick intermission right here. I am, because I'm not the type of person that can wait on goodies. I'm not. Um, and I don't typically get goodies when we're live. So I already know what I'm going to show you. Which, since I'm showing you goodies, we might as well show you all the goodies. My goodies. My goodies. I got paper goodies. I've showed you all those before. I got some paper goodies. And we're going to get some, so I'm planning this massive watercolor review video where there's going to be like 4 different watercolor sets that I've never really talked with you guys about per se. And it won't necessarily be a ranking video, but more so just like just a massive watercolor review video. So there are some Van Gogh black watercolor postcards, 25 sheets, raw talent. All of these are going to be things that were the studio is blessed with. That's real cool. There's a Hana Mule tone tan watercolor sketchbook, A5 paper. I like Hana Mule. I've liked everything by them that I've tried. There's a Marta sketchbook. I almost used this today, and I may play around with it tonight inside Patreon. I did get Desert Arts watercolor sketchbook. Was blessed with Bendy's book. Really super excited about this book. Christy has raved about the paper in it, and I know that it has gotten some really good reviews on both Amazon as well as Instagram. So I'm super, super excited about cracking open that. So those are some papers I want to show you guys that have come in lately that I haven't had a chance to show you. And I typically kind of do this at the beginning of the video, but we jumped right into the crafting because I knew it was not going to be a slow process. Let me make sure my phone still got battery. Okay, it looks like we're good. So when I was running out to grab gloves, there seemed to be some things that popped in. So let's see what's popping. I gotta be careful. I don't want to show nothing. Let's see. Strip watercolor paint travel 10 palette case. Okay, let's see what this is. We got that. We'll have to see what that is. And let's see. What's this? Oh, no. Okay, can't show you this one yet. Not yet. This one needs to go over here. That's some of the Inktober goodies. I've given you guys a few spoilers about some stuff coming up in Inktober, but can't give you the whole shebang. So can't show you that because that's going to be Inktober goodies and wonderful, wonderful things we got coming up. I'm going to show you guys something really cute too. I'm probably going to give this away today. Isn't this cute? This is, it's so cute. It's a Viva Art mini color sheet. It's 6 Viva Art watercolors. It's like a little travel kit. You know, like a little mini starter mixing set of the Viva colors, watercolors. It's so cool. It comes with a little water brush. Isn't it cute? Try to give that away today. That's so adorable. We'll leave that up there so I don't forget to include that in a giveaway. Isn't it adorable? Too adorable. It's like, I'm like, I need more of these. I would give these away all the time. It's you know, you got some cool colors in there. Your little color palette. Let's see. You have crimson, vermilion, chrome yellow, foliage green, midnight blue, and I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really make that out. It's like a Van Dyke brown color, but it's the brown for the set. So you have like a full mini 6-color mixing set. Oh, it's so cute. So cute. I really want to get my hands on some more of those. I'm going to search and seize those out. Okay, what's in this box? I spy with my little thrifty eye something in a box. Let's see. Oh, cute. Love it. Okay, so this is what this is. This is, okay, so you guys know I'm really, really into collecting novelty travel palettes, vintage palettes, and I promise you one day we're going to have a huge, huge video showing all my little novelty and vintage palettes. But this is going to be a newer little baby to the addition to the crew. So those are his half pans, and it comes with magnets. But this is the palette. Look at the gorge. Look at the gorge. Oh my God, look at the gorge. Oh, it's a 10 palette, right? Now, of course, it doesn't have any mixing on it. That's fine. You guys know me. I will actually literally make a mixing area to go there that you'll never know didn't come in it. But the gorge, it is just absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. It may help if I turn it over. That's the right side up. Oh my God, look. Isn't that adorable? Yes. So that is an additional to my little vintage 10 travel palette novelty collection. Thank you so very, 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 very much. I'm gonna call you by name this time. Thank you, Amy. Love that. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. Okay. Back to crafting. And keep in mind, you could have made this a little travel junk journal if you had a just bound like your junk journal, your tea dyed, coffee dyed, watercolor dyed papers in it. You could have put all types of pockets and things on the inside of it. It would have been a cute little travel junk journal. It would have been a cute little writing journal. You could have just put like blank pages in it to have yourself a writing journal to keep notes in or make grocery list, stuff like that. These are great little ideas for craft fairs to sell mini notebooks. These are really great gift ideas to put together for like stocking stuffers, especially for people that are still in the age of liking to write things down, keep a written list of stuff. This is all perfect for something like that. Um, I adore it. It's cute. The size of it makes it so stinking cute. It's so adorable. Yes. And I love, 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 love when I'm able to use leftover things like little pieces of fabric like that. Like, yeah, get that stuff used up. The only new thing that I opened to do this little project would have been paper because we cut down larger pieces of paper. Not much of it went to not being used though, because I have enough here left over to bind another little journal with, right? And then the offcuts from that I'm going to be using to make like little swatching things. Yeah, absolutely amazing. All right, guys, that's pretty much going to wrap up what we were doing today. I really hope that somewhere along the way you had some fun. Now you can look for. I know you're wondering, like, is it going to be? Is he giving it away? Is he giving it away? Yes, I am going to be giving this away, but this is actually going to be the very first giveaway in the little in the thrifty the new little thrifty series that's starting in Patreon and Patreon that's starting in shorts, the YouTube short series that I was talking about, where I was going to be doing the little giveaways. This will be the first giveaway in that little series as soon as I figure out how to shoot those videos, because you only get 60 seconds to put together an entire video. And I need to relay a lot of information about it in 60 seconds. So I'm going to write out a little script in all honesty, truth be told. That way I can get. So look for that coming up um, this week, where you'll see the very first little short where you'll get to participate in a giveaway for this sketchbook, this mini Viva 6 color starters set, and a water brush. All inside a very nifty, thrifty, cute little box I made out of some pattern paper. And who knows, by that point, it may even be a sticker on the front of the box. Because you guys know, I don't know how to leave well enough alone. And even when it's handmade, I wanted to leave the studio looking as professional as possible. So there you have it, my friends. I'm just gonna throw this back in. I cut that down for nothing. I'm gonna throw it back in there. It will definitely get used for something in the near dear future. Hopefully you enjoyed hanging out. Guys, don't forget to sprinkle a little love on this video and give it a thumbs up. Pretty, pretty please. If you're in replay, please give it a thumbs up. You can go ahead and share. You can share the video because maybe someone else out there would love to see this live, see the replay of this live, and learn how to make a little sketchbook or a little journal or a little notebook of their own. Do stay tuned on the channel upcoming for other crafting videos. As you guys know, I really use Sunday videos for the sort of odd and end stuff that's not doesn't have anything to do with the water solubility. Wednesdays is normally the day that I release those pre-recorded videos that has to do with water solubility, which reminds me, the art dice review video did go up yesterday. So if you haven't seen that, go check out that review on the art dice. Once this live is over, I'll try to remember to link it in this live's video description. Speaking of, check the video description for relevant links. Paints, pencils, pastels, and markers. Definitely, if you haven't joined Paints, Pencils, Pastels, and Markers, now would be the time to do it. This month kicked off Thrifty Cheap Art Challenge month, and you will need to be a member of the group in order to really participate. But the video explaining all of that goodness is coming up this Wednesday at 10 a.m. So don't miss this Wednesday's release. I may actually go back and say, well, no. I was about to say that I may go back and set that video as a premiere for this Wednesday so that the chat will be live. But honestly, on Wednesdays at 10 a.m., that's the time that I'm actually clocking in at work. And it will really make it hard for me to pay attention to the chat like I want to. So let me check the comment section, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Go ahead and hit that subscription button, that notification bell, so you'll know when all of the new content is uploaded or when we're going to go live again. Think about the flashy key watercolor giveaway. Evaluated, inspiring, handmade, refined, elegant, cozy, gift, vintage art. Gotcha. Gotcha, 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 gotcha. Got you. Actually, I'm finna screen. Give me a second. I had to screenshot that because I want to make sure I remember those. And my hands is full of glue right now, and I didn't want to have to trying to get them clean before I write anything. All right, friends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it when you guys love hanging out with me, and I love that you come over here and you do it. Keep in mind that this is all about love, joy in this corner of the world. If you are not crafting and creating and painting for the sake of joy and to spread a little love, then what are you doing with your artistic life? Thank you so much for joining me, my friends. Remember that Patreon members, I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. over in Patreon Creation Station. We're going to be having some mixed media fun. At least that's what I have advertised. But who knows how far off the rails we'll go, because you guys know this train has no compass. Remember, as I tell you at the end of every single video, just keep creating.